video, and because it's my first, I only thought it was right to kind of talk about some of my first experiences or my first what have you or video today. And I just want to talk about some of my first experiences and first encounters because I think it would be hilarious. I'm gonna try my best not to swear or say because I really don't want to be doing a lot of editing after the fact, if any at all. Probably just gonna go straight to post after I make a thumbnail because that's the easiest thing to do. And I don't have a lot of time. The only reason I'm doing this as of late is because I've had some extra time off school and I'm getting towards the end of my first little milestone of my post-secondary thing. So I have it's a little bit more slow. So I'm gonna share some first things with y'all. Anyway, okay, so I'm looking at a question thing here and it's got 56 fun my first time tag questions. So I'm gonna answer some of them and see if they're funny, if they're boring, if they're lame, if they're hilarious, if they're just strange. Anyway, the first one is the first app I check when you wake up in the morning. Probably Instagram or TikTok because I've gotten the most exposure from those two social media platforms lately. I don't really have too many notifications on for YouTube, and if I do, I don't know how to understand them, so that's that. Number 2 is first broken bone. I've actually broken a lot of bones, especially when I was a kid. I used to break bones like on an annual timeline. I don't remember the first one though. Maybe it was my ankle. It was when I was in kindergarten. I broke my ankle doing the Elmo workout dance from home, and Elmo said hop on one foot, and I did, and your girl got weak ankles, so I snapped it. And I had to have a cast when I was 4, and it was the worst, and I remember like struggling to take a shower and a bath, and I'm almost positive because I was so young, I might have either gotten it in the pool or gotten pee on it or whatever. Disgusting, but it's still whatever. First foreign country you ever visited. The first foreign country and only other country I've ever visited is the USA. The USA, United States of America. First Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook post. You think I remember that? I've had 3 million accounts. I've been 5-6 million different people. No, I'm kidding. I don't remember what my first was, but I remember Twitter being a huge issue. I got in a lot of trouble for that. First makeup item. Obviously, it's mascara. I mean, what else? If you were jumping right into a foundation without mascara, that would just look crazy and unwanted. Number 6 is the first plane ride I've went on was my plane ride to, I don't know, I went to Florida when I was really young, but I think we drove there. So I think my first plane ride was to California all by myself. I did an unaccompanied minors thing to go visit my grandfather when I was 11 to California, and that was actually really fun. And I have nothing but positive things to say about the unaccompanied minor experience. It was quite pricey, but it was nothing like the movie. I was treated like, it was more like Home Alone 2 when he's in Manhattan and he's just running the card. Because they just want to keep you happy. They really don't want to listen to anybody, like your parents complaining. There we go, there's my first so. Number 7 is first time I ever got into trouble at home or at school. I don't remember the first time I got in trouble at home because I still do. It never ends with that. With school, I think the first time I got in trouble was definitely, I don't even know how it happened. Oh, I definitely know how it happened. There was a girl in kindergarten. Her name was Tessa. I guess I do remember this quite well. If she's watching this or if she sees it, you Tessa, keep your teeth to yourself. But she was biting everybody. She was just biting everybody in the whole class like a bully, and obviously as a little kid, you're not gonna push another kid, especially as a little boy. And she bit me and it friggin' hurt. So I bit her back as hard as I could and I made her bleed. And I just remember being like, you're not gonna bite anybody again now. Whatever. And she didn't bite anybody again. So somebody should have bit that bee a long time ago. First time you were allowed to put makeup on, never, 5 years from now. But as you can see, that didn't work out. So I think the more I was told no about makeup, especially, I definitely wanted to put on 8 more layers than I was told to, as opposed to just sort of listening. So I don't know, be open to makeup, I think, but you know, be reasonable. I wouldn't recommend letting somebody get fake nails at, I think my first time I was allowed to get fake nails was either grade 8 or 9, and it was for like graduation. And I remember thinking like, I can't live without these. So I got more. First YouTuber you subscribed to. I don't know if I subscribed to them, but I remember the first YouTuber I ever heard about and ever being popular was that Fred guy, or like my name is Fred or something. My name is Jeff. No, it was my name was Fred or something. He would go around and go, oh my god, I'm going to blow. And I think everyone who was 10, 11, 12 at that time, we were like, and that's hilarious. What a fail. But I don't know if you can see my little setup here. Quite intricate. No, I'm kidding. It was like this. I have this here because I'm recording the audio separately, because I got a really good recommendation to try and format whatever I do into a podcast maybe and try that out. And it's only audio, so I actually think that is a lot easier than a YouTube video, most likely. So I'm probably gonna explore that. But I do have to record something separately, because for podcasts you obviously can't do a unboxing video. Nobody sees it. If you're listening to it on the bus, all you're gonna hear is like an ASMR video. Anyway, number 11, my first boyfriend or girlfriend. I think it was in grade 9. I'm not gonna name this person. I'm just gonna go by like letters. So J. I was in grade 9. It was cute. I'm still on good terms with this person, actually. We both ended up pursuing the same career paths, and we were both so young when we had been meeting your man. So when actually they are a lot farther ahead in their school and career than I am right now. So I just never burned that bridge, because they were willing to be cordial with me, and I thought maybe I could use this as a networking thing in the future. You know, I might not be this person's lover ever again, but I could be this person's coworker or reference or whatever may have you. They do know you, depending on the terms, right? Like if it's somebody who pushed you down a flight of stairs, I don't recommend doing that. Or if they don't have anything to offer, like if they're a mechanic, like SMD from the back, like I can't, goodbye. My first car, ooh, as of late, I actually just got it in 2020. It's a Jeep, a Rubicon. I love it. It's so good. 2020 is the year. It's a 2020 model. So it's super reliable, super new. Everything's all decked out. It had a sub in the back, actually, like an 8-inch or 10-inch sub. I was really impressed with the floor model, or maybe it was their like adventure model. I don't know, but it was awesome. Thanks, Dad. 5, 6, I don't know. I'm gonna have like an counter. My first celebrity crush, oh, I definitely remember this, Cody Simpson. Now that I think I've looked at it lately, and it's like, what? But it definitely was when I was a kid. I think I still go for that like blonde, beach kind of, you know, similar look to sort of me. But then again, I do go for the complete opposite as well. I like a little Italian spice. Oh, I'm gonna get backfire for that. And I'm just kidding. But I do like, you know, I'm not discriminatory. I don't have a type per se. Sure, I'm not gonna say again. My first cooking experience, again, 10 years from now. I'm not a very good cook in it, or baker, or I don't belong in the kitchen. I belong on the internet, on the balcony, on a beach, on an island, on a yacht, but not on the kitchen platform. It's definitely not something I should be trusted with. Actually, close to my birthday weekend, I ended up trying to cook a hamburger, like just a regular hamburger myself, because I couldn't drive. And I didn't cook it all the way through, I guess, because I don't know how to cook a fucking hamburger. That's a waste of my time. I'd rather just go get one, to be honest. It's worth more of my time to be doing something else or working or studying as opposed to waiting 20 minutes for this burger. So I didn't wait the 20 minutes, obviously. I probably waited 10, but I still ate it because it was late and I wasn't looking, and I'm not doing quality control on it. So when I ate it, I literally got food poisoning, and for 24 hours, and I moved that weekend as well, so it was like food poisoning, birthday, and now you gotta move a bunch of boxes and make sure nobody like goes in them and sniffs your socks or your underwear. So I had to do that. It was the worst. It was the worst experience ever. It wasn't like a hangover. It was like I should have just walked 6 miles to McDonald's. The number, there's some chaos going on in the hallway. I don't know if it comes up on the audio recording, but my apologies. I don't know, I live in a crazy house, so there's always gonna be background noise. I'll add some sound effects over it. So number 11 is my first BFGF/GF, and then number 16 is my first ever boyfriend, and number 19 is my first ever girlfriend. So, I mean, do you answer all those separately? Because I see how you could answer, like, my first girlfriend and boyfriend if you went both ways. But then it asks you, it's whatever. Okay, so we're done. Quiet again. My first cooking experience was food poisoning. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what probably an easy bake oven was my first cooking experience. Wasn't everybody, you know, you put a bunch of cookie dough in this little tiny plastic oven with the smallest little light bulb, so it took you 3 years to cook something. And if you did it, it was overfilled with sugar, so you didn't complain. You felt a sense of accomplishment. It was the easy bake oven and the bright light, when you stuck those little pegs into the board and it lit up. And now that I think about it, I'm young, and those were the kinds of toys I was playing with as a kid. Now I've seen kids with the iPhones at like 5, which brings me to my next question. Good segue. My first ever cell phone was grade 7. It was the LG Banter, and I remember it because it was a slide, and I was cool because everyone else had these dinky little phones, and I had the slide. And you could change the covers on it, so I could go to school one day on a Monday with a purple phone, then I could change the case, go to school on Tuesday with a blue phone, and Wednesday I could go with an orange phone. So people thought I was super rich and cool because I had 3 different phones. Little did they know it's just a case. Again, now that I think about that, that's hilarious. I would never get a slide phone again. Maybe they'll do it. I think I've seen new phones like the iPhone that fold, which is, I'm not even gonna go there. My first crush was, I don't remember. Too many. I'm just kidding. Sorry. My first date, I don't remember that either. Probably, like I said before, with my first boyfriend, and we went to probably like a Applebee's or a Montana's or some sort of weird low-end family grade restaurant. My standards have much upgraded since then. But when you're like 14, you're like, I don't care, let's get the calamari. My first ever kiss, it was the worst experience. I'm so ashamed. I'm not even gonna give this person credit. I don't name drop either. Again, letter basis, but C was this nasty person that I knew in grade 7, and I thought they were so cute. And now that I look at it, and I probably should have noticed then too, big lard, ugly turd, can't. It was the worst. But the only thing I remember about it that like sticking out was I remember putting clear mascara on right before and being like, I'm gorgeous, I'm ready for my editorial. It's clear mascara, girl, calm the fudgesicle down. My first fear, I don't know. I'm scared of everything. I don't go outside. No, I don't remember what my first fear was. I think everyone's first fear is loud noises when you're first born as a newborn. I could be wrong though. And falling, fact check me, but don't quote me on it. My first friend in college. Again, I think I will name drop for this one. Her name's, I still have friends with her. Her name's Cassandra. Awesome person. Just had similar interests, and we both would work out sometimes. And we both had the same extracurriculars and things like that. We both had small dogs. So we just got along like two peas in a pod. She's a really good person. I highly recommend. I think she does blogging and social media stuff like that, and it's definitely different from mine. So if you wanted like a more prim and proper and polished sort of view on things, which everybody always needs, you need to put a filter on sometimes. Check her out. I'll leave her link to her Instagram and other social media in my link below. The next one is my first heartbreak. Oh, I've had a couple, so I don't know what you would consider, because as you get older, you think, oh, that was my first heartbreak, but that person just stomped on your cookie or, stole your crayons or whatever. And as you get older, you're like, this was my first heartbreak. And then you go through your next relationship and you're like, no, this was the real one. So if I wanted to get into what I think right now is my first heartbreak, my real heartbreak, that would need to be a separate video, because that's another bag of worms, Mr. Miyagi. Again, first Instagram post, don't remember. I'm not too sure. I don't even remember what my first Instagram account was. My first internet activity, I don't remember. I'm not the SWAT team. My first job, oh, this one's good. My first job, definitely everyone that I knew had their first jobs at McDonald's and like these really, excuse my language, lame ass places. And I think actually you can look at Vice, the reporting company, or like internet, I don't know what they are specifically called, but they do news and stuff. It's really well known. But I'm not gonna say anything, but they have a video that's quite recent that like comments on the stuff that's been happening with McDonald's and stuff, and like other franchise. Ooh, sorry, I gotta move this. With franchises lately, just because of legal rights and stuff. Like if you subcontract I'm not gonna get into the details, but check that video out, because that's another reason why I'm gonna get into this point. But my first job was with it was an independent restaurant. It was big, it was nice, it was high end, and I was a hostess. I think I was 15, so I couldn't serve alcohol yet. I don't know where you live, but there are standards to that where I live. You can't do that until you're 18, can't drink until you're 19. So I was a hostess, which is the person at the door that goes, let me show you to your table. And we drew out grids of the tables and kept track of, we had information systems on the tables and things like that. So it was a really good lead into administrative jobs that I did later on, because it was my first sort of introduction to working with an information system and working with an online platform to do scheduling, like if I had to take something off or I wanted to take a shift. So it was a really good experience. It's not open anymore, but it was, so I think I can talk about it. It was called Fraticelli's, really good Italian restaurant, and I really liked it there. I worked there, I think, for a number of months. And I don't remember the reason why I stopped working there. But I remember being in high school at the same time and getting off of high school and having to take the bus right to work. So it might have been the fact that I just didn't want to do that 6 days a week. But it was a great job. I do recommend being a hostess in a restaurant or something like that, as opposed to maybe a franchise job like McDonald's. I know plenty of people that have horror stories, from people throwing nuggets in somebody's face to somebody stealing a bag of chicken nuggets, or weird things that first jobs that people have had. I had a really good experience, but I do have a really weird story. I don't know if I want to tell it, so I'm gonna leave it there. My first language is English, obviously, because I'm speaking it. I don't know French, but I did take French immersion. You think I can speak it? No. I should really try and freshen up on my skill for that, because if you don't use it, you lose it, honey. But I don't have any French speaking people in my house or in my social group, so it's very hard to use it on a consistent basis unless you're traveling to Quebec or France every couple months. And even then, they're different versions of French if you go to France or Quebec, so it's a difference. My first pet is the same dog I still have. His name is Paco. He will be making a guest appearance on another video. Right now, I think he's 14 or 15. He's an old guy, but he's my favorite guy. He's a Yorkie, and he's my dog, and that's the only pet I've ever had. And I don't plan on getting pets after that. I didn't realize how much, especially as an adult with you don't realize how much, if you're in elementary school and you're not taking care of it, or you're home most of the day, when you're working and doing school and doing numerous activities throughout the day, it becomes such a job. Like, it's almost like having a kid. So, well, it's nothing like it, but it takes a lot of attention that you probably wouldn't consider or wouldn't think of it taking before you. 15 years ago, I didn't think that I would still be having to do so much maintenance and stuff like that, because he comes everywhere with me, but I don't mind it. My first piercing, and when did I get it, I think was my ears. I got it when I was probably a couple months old because my mom was just wanted to get it over with, which I'm not debating at all. I do remember getting consistent piercings like every birthday, and that was like my landmark thing. And I think it still is now, because for my most recent birthday, I got lip injections. So I think it's been a pattern in the past where I'm doing things to my body or touching things up or trying different styles or piercings out before. So I do remember being 15, getting a nose piercing, and then I got my cartilage pierced. I'll show that in another video because I'm not showing you my edges right now. I got my nose pierced. I remember really regretting that because I used to do cheerleading. So when I would bang it on things, my nose would start bleeding. I always smelt metal, or like I always had this weird underlying smell, but that's just me. I still have the mark from it, and that's something that I didn't really kind of realize, and I only had it in for a couple months. So that's that. Then I got my belly pierced, I think when I was 18. I've done that, but then I ran out of things because I didn't want any crazy piercings that, would attract the wrong attention. And then I got 3 little triple helix ones here because I saw Kiki Palmer on an interview with it when I was little. But then I stopped doing that, and then I started touching up my bodies on birthdays. So for this past birthday in June, I'll probably make another video for that on a quarantine birthday. But yeah, I did touch up my lips. Oh, nice shot. So the next one is my first sexual experience. It was with my best friend because I just didn't want to, gossip is huge and stuff as a 14, 15-year-old, and especially when I was that age, we were just getting introduced to Instagram, and like our main platform that we were using, I think, was Facebook. So we were really utilizing Twitter and Instagram. We would send a lot of things. I remember it being like a mass data thing. So I didn't want, and especially if you live in like a smaller town, I didn't want any rumors or any people going around. I didn't want anybody sort of having anything over me after the fact and saying like, oh, I hooked up with her or whatever. I just didn't want that. So I remember having a conversation with my best friend, who was a guy at the time, go by the letter D. I think he's doing well. I would stay on a good term with him, but he doesn't have much not that he doesn't have anything to offer me, but which is true, but we don't have the same interests and interactions, so I don't really see the need for it. If there's no need to talk to an ex, just don't. It'll mess up your experiences in the future. But anyway, I remember being like, can we just do this and get it over with? Because he was moving out of the state or province. I can't give that away. So and obviously he was done because I'm pretty. And it was really, really awkward, and we didn't talk after, but he moved, so that's okay. And it still is awkward because I think both of us go back to being 14 and being like, giggly gigs. But I don't regret doing that with my best friend because I kind of lost the friendship, but I gained not having somebody not having that bad experience after the fact, because I did know some girls who were, you know, talked about at a party or bullied at school the next week, or they would get treated differently. So I definitely didn't want that to be me. The next one was my first swear word. I don't remember. My first word, I think, was all gone. So my first word was all, whatever. I really wish it was like money or something cool, but it wasn't. It was all gone, like a big fat ass. My first and only tattoo is this one. I don't really want to give, well, fuck it. It says "Let It Be." Is it a Beatles reference? It is. But at the same time, it means other things. I get really stressed out. I always get stressed out. I still do. I'm stressed right now. But I get stressed out and stuff about things that I really have no control over. You know, if you apply for something and you're waiting for the 24-hour period, like, you'll sit there like, oh, I'll freak out over that. So it's just a reminder, as like, don't stress too much over things you can't control. Like, there's healthy stress, and then there's stress that's gonna give you a heart attack. So I don't want to carry around a life alert. So I just got that little tattoo. I don't regret it, but a lot of people were like, you're gonna get addicted to tattoos after. You're addicted to drugs, because I definitely wasn't. It really hurt. It might have been the spot, it might have been something that happened, but it definitely, somebody called me sorry, but it definitely wasn't something I wanted to do again immediately. No, it was just, and I didn't like the look of tattoos on my body. However, if you do, and like I see people with like their whole body covered in tattoos, that's awesome. I love that look. I just don't like that look on me. And if I can respect that, then I hope you can respect my look, I guess you'd call it. So that's kind of my outlook on it. I don't knock anybody's appearance at all, but I have my own personal thing, and everybody should, so they are individual. My first time on a plane, I think, was to California, and it was by myself, and it was a really good experience because they overbabied me because I was 11 and I was an unaccompanied minor. So I got if I was sitting at the window seat and there was 2 people sitting beside me, the flight attendants would actually move them to different seats. So I got 3 seats to myself on almost every plane. And I remember the last plane that I took back home, it was the middle of winter, so there was a lot of snow and turbulence, and there was like 8 seats. I literally thought I was gonna die because the light in the plane was like, you know those old ass cars where you go click, click, and the light turns on? This is what the plane lights were. So I definitely didn't think that oxygen masks would drop down. I thought it would be like a white flag, and that's all you get. Or like a little pool floaty or pool noodle. I didn't think it was equipped to handle it. There was probably, like I said, 8 seats on the entire plane. But the great part about that, and I really wish I would have been more social and like more interactive. Not social, I was super social, but I definitely didn't follow up with people, and I didn't. But this super nice, super rich lady, I remember she had the cutest pair of Louboutins on, because I was that kid. Season 8's Louboutins, oh my god. But I definitely was. And she was obviously a business lady, and she could see that I was nervous because it was a really old, rickety plane. And I thought we was gonna go down because it was a blizzard. So she talked to me the whole time, and she made sure that I felt safe, and she just kept talking about, like, rambling about her stuff so that I wouldn't think about my own stuff. And I got gummy bears and a whole bunch of other candy on that ride, so it actually wasn't bad. Like, the situation was bad, but everyone around me in that situation, like, did everything possible to make it a good experience. So 2 thumbs up. The plane, ironically enough, that the company that I was flying with the unaccompanied minor program was United, and they haven't gotten the best press lately. But I will say my experience 10 plus years ago as an unaccompanied minor was more than superb. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna cut it off there because I could go on forever about all my first experiences with a million different things, but I'm gonna chop it up in a different subject so I don't give you all my information. So I hope you like the video, and like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.